Welcome to my podcast where I'll be talking about things that I think. This is the first episode and it's something new. I'm trying as I try to get into the groove of what this channel may look like, or what my life I guess will look like. Okay, so so this is just one thing I'm thinking of starting up this podcast. Obviously you don't have to listen to this, and I appreciate you guys if you do want to listen to this, right? Alright, so this topic that I wanted to speak about is concerning eternity. So like when I was young, or just throughout life, I always thought, what should be the most important thing? As in, and I was talking with my brother about this, like what time is more important, 10 years time, like no, or in 10 years? And I gave the example of what would it take now, $100 now, or $1 million, or $10 million 10 years later. Oh boy, let me put it on silent. So this is the first podcast. I really don't expect anybody to watch this, so this is kind of just a testing ground to get things started, mate. Alright, so he said it's like he didn't want to answer, but he had to answer and say, okay, he would take the $10 million later. But when it came to God and eternity, I guess he didn't really want to answer that question. Now that I'm thinking about, I don't know if he probably want me to share this. But I have many brothers, so you don't know which one. Might be. And it might be like a church brother. Like I was talking to my brother at church, Probably messed it up already. Alright. Okay. So obviously eternity makes way more sense to put on a higher value instead of these 50 years that we have left. Yeah, I probably have 50 years left on this earth. Maybe 70. But like after, are you really living life at 80, Because it might as well just end it right there. Depends. If you have strength, it might be fine. But good life, like strong life, I think 50. Maybe 30. So 100 years or 150 years later, you'd be 50 years into eternity, and then 250 years later after that you'll be 150 years later into eternity. So what would you be thinking about then? You'd obviously be thinking about the moment you're in. So guys, I want you guys to comment, because I'm not sure if I'm making sense. And I know you always comment say, yeah, you're not making any sense. But the point I'm trying to get at is, and I still get into a scripture that I was wanting to share. The point I'm trying to make is that it makes way more sense to dwell on the things of heaven than on earth, because we're going to spend more time on heaven. In fact, we're going to spend infinite time in heaven. All right, so the scripture now, it's Matthew 6 from verse 19, and it says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasure treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and wherein thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." So when I read that, I was thinking, can we actually store up treasures in heaven? Like, is it similar to earth, where you have like a currency, not money necessarily, but like something that has value there, like the alternative to what money is here on earth. There may be something there in heaven, if you understand. So if that is true, that we can actually store up treasures in heaven, that is like a really good news, because while we're here we can be actually like investing in heaven, like a literal bank account. And now the noise coming in, so now hopefully God, I pray that you provide a place where no noise can enter. All right, so having a place in your head that all right, but mind I don't know if you guys go hear the noise, but all right, let me think. The reality is, at least for me, maybe, but I understand that many people may not believe, and everybody has to have a certain level of faith. Nobody can know for sure what the end is, but I have had enough experiences to know, to believe, with to have enough evidence. I have enough evidence to believe that this is true, the Bible is true, but you are to seek for yourself to get that evidence. Okay, so in the end, when we finally enter into eternity, there will be like a bank account, I think, based on the scripture, that you have been putting your treasures in. And then when we go into heaven, we'll see what it is. Maybe it is I don't know, maybe faith, maybe is I think faith will be like a currency. Who knows? Say for example, if faith is the currency, or maybe it is actually like houses. Maybe you actually have a bunch of houses that you have stored up in heaven, and now when you reach it, but then again, will you have like people who, but you would be envious in heaven, right? Because how would you reach there? So everybody, one person will have a bigger house than the next person. I don't think I would envy their house, because they would probably have to let me enter if I wanted to enter their house. If I ask, can I enter your house? And they say no, in heaven, why you go deny me that? So even if they have more things in heaven than me, I do not see how it will stop me from enjoying their things. All right, but that's if it's like that. But, or maybe, okay, so another way to think about it, that treasures, store up treasures in heaven, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven. So he's saying to store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy. So whatever this treasure is that is in heaven, moths cannot destroy. It is eternal treasures. That is a mystery. So if you guys know if you guys have any idea of what that treasure is, I would love to know it. I would love to know it. So back to the main point that I was saying. These treasures that we're storing up, why are we storing up treasures here? Sure, it could make sense to enjoy this life. I don't think we should be suffering in this life. But Romans 8 talks about it as well. Like, the suffering in this life is nothing compared to the glory that will be revealed in us. So it's like, God might, this is something I think about. If God is going to give us eternity where we cannot even comprehend the goodness that we will have, He might let us suffer here for a short time, and that suffering may be like really hard, like gruesome, like terrible, like, like what Jesus went through and his disciples, because in the end, but is that God's personality, or is that the type of being God is? Someone, because this is my mindset, that okay, He can make us suffer really hard because we will never suffer that suffering again forever. So what is it to suffer like really bad? I don't want to say any of the suffering, but you can imagine like that type of suffering. What is it? What is it to have that level of suffering? And then you spend eternity in heaven. I don't have the answers. So this is just things to meditate on, to think about. Alright, so thanks guys for watching. I will be trying to record some music. I was trying to record music, but I need to practice more. I'm not very good at the moment. So if you guys have any testimonies that you would like to share about God's work that is undeniable, I would love to hear it. Maybe set up an interview to talk about it so that people can be encouraged and see the goodness, and to actually have an idea that God is realer than this reality, or realer than we think. Alright, so thanks for watching and